Hi, my name is Leah Cross. I'm a national educator with John Paul Mitchell Systems. Thanks so much for having me today. I'm excited to share with you the Elena color technique by Mary Como. This is a fun dimensional color technique. As you are, I'm sure, like me, I'm behind the chair a lot, and I'm always looking for new ways to add dimension to my guest's hair in a time-efficient manner. So I'm excited to show you this. I think it's really going to save you some time behind the chair. It's going to be a great upgrade for you, and I think you're just going to enjoy the end result. I'm going to start by sectioning my model here into a triangular top section, wider towards the hairline and more narrow towards the crown. Now you can certainly adjust this triangle based on their haircut or the way that they part it, but this is actually designed to give you a little bit of pop of color even if they have a side part. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of curl this and clip this under so that it's out of my way for my underneath section. So you can see it's sort of like a little barrel curl on top, and it's just a nice triangle top section. Okay, so beginning in the back, I'm going to start with my second formula. My first formula, Mary designed this to go over a nice blonde level 10. So she pre-lightened her guest to a level 10 with synchro lift. So that's our first formula. And our second formula is going to be featuring the new Paul Mitchell, the color XG permanent hair color. It is level 6 RO with 3 inches of orange intensifier. You guys are really going to have a lot of fun with these intensifiers. Just like the name, they intensify the color you're trying to achieve. I love this, especially when I'm working with my reds and my coppers, and even sometimes with my blondes and my golds. I like to add a little intensifier. So starting in the back, we're going to work as though we are doing a retouch. So you're going to split down the center, and you're just going to apply this right to that retouch area to start and get that kind of split. Now if she has a little bit of the longer hair, you could certainly split this and clip it out of the way. You certainly want to work clean and neat. So make sure that if you're working with a longer length, that you clip that out of your way so you're not getting color all over the place. I'm going to work on the left side of the head to start. I'm going to take a diagonal section and I'm going to just work that over towards the center of the head. So really utilizing the shape of the head to kind of smooth that over, especially where this is a little bit of a shorter length. It is much easier to do this. But even with my longer lengths, I've learned that working in this manner really helps me to look neat and clean. As an educator, I've really learned to try to keep my presentation very professional, very organized. And I've carried this over into being behind the chair because my guests, even though they really are looking for that end result, the whole process and experience of sitting in my chair is really what they come in and they come back for. So keeping myself neat and presentable is really a key factor in a lot of the things that I'm doing behind the chair. All right, so you can see I'm continuing to work in this little bit of a diagonal section, just working that hair, working those sections, making sure I'm getting great saturation. Let's talk about saturation for a minute. One of the major things that I get questions about when I go in to teach in salons is, my reds aren't bright enough or my gray's not covering or anything like that. I find a lot of the time the saturation plays a role in why color isn't as bright or it's not taking as well into the hair. Especially up here in New England, I find that, there's a lot of barriers that my clients come in with, whether it be well water or just that, they're using a lot of product and they're not washing their hair every day. It's every little bit of thing that kind of gets in the way of my color getting into their hair. So when they come and sit in my chair, I really want to make sure that I am giving that full saturation. Paul Mitchell, I love Paul Mitchell. They're such a fantastic company with all their technology, right down to their color brush. These bristles are a little bit stiffer than some of the bristles that I've worked with on other color brushes in the past. And what that allows me to do is not only apply the color, but work that color through. As you can see, I'm kind of combing that hair through with the color. Also utilizing the Color XG Permanent Hair Color by Paul Mitchell. It is very creamy and slides through the hair really nice. So I think you're going to find that working with this color really does speed up your time. I can do this entire application like I would with an all-over color application and still get that multi-dimension. So it's become one of my favorite techniques that I've worked with. I've really been able to use it a lot. All right, working towards the front hairline here. We're just going to, you can see how neat and organized this is, pulling all of this away from the face and getting it up and out of the way. All right, so that's one side. That's our left side. Moving on to the right side, I'm going to work in the same manner. Now remember, I'm moving out of the way so that you can really see what I'm doing here, but when I'm working in the salon, typically I'm standing actually right in front of my section. So making sure that you're doing that. As a hairdresser, you want to make sure that you are taking good care of your body and creating good habits with your body position. This is going to be able to let you do what you love longer. We all want that. Okay, so again, working in those diagonal sections, coming across the back of the head, making sure I have great saturation, combing it through, and just working in the same manner that I did on the left side of the head. So this isn't too difficult of an application, but just, you know, changing up the direction, changing up the way you play the game a little bit, starting in the back and working in these diagonal sections and moving everything towards the back is one of my new favorite things to do. I like to work outside of the box. I'm not a straight and narrow kind of a girl. I like to work on my diagonals. I like to work on the curves of the head. I find that it really contours well and makes me feel a little more creative and allows me to get that color right where I'd like it to fall. Okay, so once we get to that ear, again, we're going to just keep moving forward. You can come a little more at a vertical when you come to the side of the head, if that makes it a little easier for you, and getting up and around the hair. Now for an all-over color, Paul Mitchell also has a fabulous product called Color Block. This is something I put on the skin prior to a color application, particularly if I'm working with bright or darker colors. It is like a barrier for the skin so that you're not going to allow your guests to leave with little salon tattoos all around their hairline. So that's a fabulous product. And then, of course, if you did make a couple little boo-boos and get it on their skin, then Paul Mitchell makes another fabulous product called Wipeout. And Wipeout is designed to remove color from the skin after your color application. So once I'm finished applying an all-over color, I always just do a check and make sure that I've wiped their skin clean. And that way it's not sitting for that full processing time on their skin and allowing it to get in there. All right, so this is a really neat and clean application you can see here. And she already looks like she's got her own little style going on. So with my foil, I'm going to take just a slice of foil here, and I'm going to just lay this over right along the part line. And this is just going to keep me a little neat and clean. Again, with presentation, I want everything to look neat and organized and intentional. So working on the top of the head here, I'm going to show you my pre-done mannequin. I have done the back of the head like so. And then the top triangular section, I have sectioned into 5 sections utilizing my Paul Mitchell sectioning clips. So they're going to be at a slight angle. And I'll show you what this looks like. So tilting her head down slightly. I'm going to just come at a diagonal right across the side of her head here. All right, and using my clip to clip that out of the way, and then continuing in this manner and creating about 5 sections. Now, each section is about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. And of course, that will be dictated by how long your guest's hair is, how thick their hair is, and how wide you want that triangle top section to be. If it looks about like the width that mine is here, then about 1 inch or so is a good width for that. All right. So here you have your 5 triangular, or not triangular, but diagonal sections across the front of the head. Now I'm going to start by working on the left side of the head, so just very gently I'm going to move my sectioning clips off to the side. That's another great feature about these sectioning clips. They lay so flat and they don't leave lines of demarcation. All right, so starting in this first corner here on the left, I'm going to work with my third formula, placing a foil right underneath that. So this is where I'm going to kind of come in and just make sure that's gently on the side of her head. My third formula is my 8C with my 8C with my 1 gold intensifier and 20 volume. So 8C from my new permanent color line, the color XG. It's a fantastic brand. Again, really working through the hair, combing it through. This stuff is fantastic to work with, especially when you're doing larger sections like this. And just make sure you're getting that saturation, particularly at the scalp and around the hairline. Sometimes I do just a little up to make sure I've gotten right around their hairline. And a fun thing about this, since we are working in larger sections, I'm going to just lay that foil right on top of there. Instead of folding it up and taking time to do all those folds and place all these foils in, I'm really just going to utilize the foil that I already have in there as my board for my next section. Okay, so now working with my fourth formula. My fourth formula is again, still the permanent color XG. I'm going to go around this with my fourth formula in that little retouch area. And if you have a little bit of a larger section, then just come in through here and slice that in half so that you make sure you are getting through all that hair, particularly on thicker textures. You're going to want to do that. So my fourth formula being my 10N with my 1 orange intensifier and my 20 volume. Working through that section. So you can see I'm just going to be alternating these 3 formulas that I have, starting with my 6RO and then working with my 10N. That's going to be really pretty next to each other. Placing this foil back over the top. And now I'm going to work again with my 6RO. So, starting with the 8C, the 10N, and then the 6RO. So they're alternating. And you're going to have just one of your, one section of the 6RO on the top of the head. So it kind of allows for it to blend in with the back. All right. And you can see how quick this is. Like I said, in the beginning, this is a great add-on. So someone that already experiences all over color with me or already experiences a retouch color application with me, but they're looking for something a little different. They don't want to go too drastic. This is a fantastic application. I've done this with just 3 different brunette colors that are very similar. So they all blend in a lot and there's not a lot of dramatic difference, but it does give them that variation. So every time they move their hair, it allows for them to have a little more life to their color instead of just one flat color all over. All right. So now I'm working again with my 8C. So I did 8C, 10N, and then 6RO, and now I'm back to my 8C. You can see this is just such a fast, easy application. I love working like this. All right. And then for my last section on top is my 10N. Making sure that I've got that fully saturated and working it through. Really utilizing that beautiful Paul Mitchell technology to work that color through the hair. Awesome. And then to finish off, I'm just going to lay one more piece of foil over the